We are here with Joe Pappano, who is the spanking new CEO of Sightline Payments. And first of all, welcome and congratulations, Joe.
Thank you, Frank. Much appreciated. Exciting times.
Well, Joe, you have been one of the most respected people in the payments side of the gaming industry, and I'm sure, confident that the folks at Sightline are fortunate to have you as CEO.
Well, and I'm fortunate to be a part of a great organization that already had that entrepreneurial spirit, already had that innovation and that incredible discipline to start to build out the market. And they've been highly successful. And, my goal is to build upon that success and the great talent and leadership that we have in the organization and continue to bridge that convergence of the payments and gaming industry. So look forward to it.
Great. Joe, in addition to today's announcement of your promotion to CEO, you also announced an investment by Searchlight Capital Partners. Tell us what this investment means for Sightline.
Yeah, I think what it does, at first it legitimizes the acceleration of the cashless industry or the payment modernization that's occurring within the gaming and the payments industry coming together. With Searchlight being a global, private investment firm having over $8 billion in assets, it's really going to accelerate the growth, at Sightline. When I think about our focus on what we're going to do related to all the marketing and how we can truly help drive organizations and operators as it relates to player development, as it relates to their acquisition strategy. How can we truly understand lifetime player value and create generational marketing strategies by leveraging the payment data and the access to the secure payment ecosystem that we develop? The second area is the focus on data. How can we truly get better customer insights and leverage the data that we have? Because historically, the payment data has never been utilized to enrich the consumer persona in regards to how do we better understand their behaviors as it relates to the gaming and entertainment space, and ultimately how can we drive value as associated with such. We're going to focus on our platform enhancements. Right now we have a proprietary industry leading bi-directional network that allows us to operate in a closed loop environment, and there's a number of enhancements that we continue to operate and build out within what we call our Span Express or our Play platform, which will continue to drive more utility and more value add in regards to the overall offering, and truly creating a single player identity and making that safe, secure, and frictionless, in doing so in a responsible manner by allowing money to go in and out of that secured stored value ecosystem. And that's very important when you look at the convergence of the digital side, cascading back down to the integrated casino resort, and how inevitably I want to tie that to the non-gaming side of the integrated casino resort. And then lastly, we are going to focus on truly that cost of a transaction. How can the industry truly leverage the benefits, the proprietary nature of this closed loop network that we built out over the years called the Span Network? So incredibly excited on how we can continue to drive value to the operators in addition to the patrons, and truly creating this seamless ecosystem.
If we look at the industry, Joe, 2 or 3 years out, with the convergence of these technologies, with the proliferation of online gaming and online sports wagering, what will this industry look like from a payments perspective?
Yeah, look, and this started quite some time ago, but you are truly starting to see the convergence of two highly complex, highly regulated industries finally converging in payments and gaming. What you're seeing play out is a greater mutual respect and appreciation for the governance, the oversight that exists within these two complex industries in payments and gaming coming together. And there's a greater appreciation and understanding of the benefits of payment modernization and ultimately what cashless, contactless, or cardless can bring to that integrated casino resort, and how that ties back up with many of the digital offerings in the marketplace. You are going to see a very disciplined approach in regards to how payments gets introduced and how payments will be consumed from a regulatory perspective, and ensuring that we're protecting the integrity of the ecosystem, these transactions from an AML, from a risk perspective and a fraud perspective. You're going to see this very disciplined approach of how it rolls out within the gaming and entertainment ecosystem. If you take a look, COVID-19 just accelerated the movement. The industry has been focused on moving or offering up some form of cashless as a patron option over the last number of years. But given the recent events, it has helped accelerate that process to truly help drive and bring new innovation to allow a patron to seamlessly move money in, seamlessly move money out, and do that in a very responsible manner. I would tell you the industry seems to be very aligned in regards to how we can take this approach. Many great companies are involved. The AGA, for example, and the Payment Modernization Initiative that they're leading, the collaborative effort of the market. For the first time, it seems as though everyone is aligned toward that same common goal of how do we start to digitally transform the gaming and entertainment industry. I do believe operators will start to understand the benefits of payments and how it can be leveraged, the data, to get better consumer insights, or to help drive new revenue streams, or to understand how it can be utilized for player development or acquisition strategy, or to create these generational marketing strategies. So we feel very good about the industry alignment in terms of this industry is going to obviously adopt, and it is going to embrace some form of cashless initiative that truly will lead 3 to 5 years now of truly creating that omni-channel offering, the ability to create a single identity of a patron and be able to truly understand those behaviors and create an experience that is consistent, and that message is very crystallized in regards to how I engage in cashless, how do I put money in, and most importantly, how can I get money out, and how am I rewarded to do so? What are my benefits, and what are the controls that would exist to do so? In being in the payments industry 30 years, I have never been more bullish on where the market is going, and cascading upon that bullishness is the macro environment is incredibly favorable in regards to what and how this will look like 3 to 5 years from now.
You mentioned the industry being aligned. Are regulators in line as well?
You know, that again goes back to this collaborative effort, right? We have to understand with the regulators, it's sharing of best practices, helping them understand the controls that exist. When you utilize a financial instrument, what are the velocity, the controls? How can time and diversion be embedded in that offering? So it's that nurturing educational process that as an industry, we have to continue to work with so they truly can understand. The great thing about the payments industry, it's been in existence for 4 decades. And within that payment ecosystem, even though transactions occur within seconds, it's a very complex ecosystem, but you have inherited patron or consumer protections that are inherited when you utilize some form of financial instrument. Understanding the controls that can be embedded, right? So from a responsible gaming, how I have access to my funds, but what limits do I have access to my funds? The question of, do I start with more of a stored value prepaid debit type offering, or do I allow for credit to be introduced, which is extending debt? there's all these misperceptions that exist in the market. And as an industry, and Sightline will continue to lead that effort, is the sharing of best practices and being that advocate to what a ecosystem can look like and how that can operate in a safe, secure, responsible manner.
Now, Sightline's a small company. You're competing against some very, very large companies with great resources. You've picked up a good financial partner in Searchlight.
Yep.
How do you see Sightline competing against those big companies?
Look, I would say Sightline has done extremely well when you take a look at what they've been able to do since 2011, 12, in coming into the market. What I will tell you with small entrepreneurial type companies that have great leadership, great innovation, is you have to have great clarity in regards to what you're trying to accomplish, and organizationally, what value are we going to continue to bring to the market. You can't be all things to all people, right? You can't boil the ocean in a day or run to the next shiny initiative. I like to say you have to have ears to the ground and eyes on a vision. And when you take a look at Sightline and what our uniqueness is, by providing enabling financial transactions to be utilized in a safe, secure, frictionless environment, and being able to do so in a responsible manner, and really providing that connected tissue related to all these different points of actions and how you bring that in an omni-channel offering, we do this better than anyone in the industry. And it's maintaining and being laser focused on the value and how we continue to bring value to the industry, understanding the movement of the markets, and making sure we have open acceptance throughout the ecosystem. So we feel very good about our positioning. I like to say my DNA is I'm always schizophrenic. As soon as you think you're really good, you got to put your foot on the gas pedal and become even better. We're an organization that is going to continue to strive for perfection, because the depth and expertise that we have at Sightline, from the management team and every one of our employees, bar none, is best in the industry. We know how to navigate the complexities and how you truly bring together this seamless ecosystem related to the payments and the gaming ecosystem.
This is a year 2020 when a lot of technology and companies and emerging companies are going public.
Yep.
We saw the big headline of the day, DoorDash going public today, and in the very first day getting a market value in excess of $60 billion. Is going public in Sightline's future?
Look, I'll be honest with you, that right now, we're tremendously excited about the partnership that's been consummated with Searchlight. We have great alignment on our strategy, where we want to go as an organization, and more importantly, what that vision looks like in terms of how can we better connect that guest or patron experience, and how do we continue to add value on the operator side, whether it be digital or the integrated casino resort, or how and what value we can continue to provide on the patron side. So right now we have great alignment with the strategic partner we have in Searchlight. And, my number one goal and the goal of our team is to continue to execute, to continue to be an industry advocate, continue to focus on how we lead this industry forward, and truly providing a harmonious ecosystem of acceptance. I'll be honest with you, I have no desire at this point. We're focused on execution, and that's probably a question, best to be answered by our, Searchlight, and they have great depth and expertise on the payment side. But we're laser focused on what we need to do and how we're going to drive value.
Payments has had issues over the years with banks and credit card companies and so on. And just this past week, it was revealed that on January 1, Visa is going to recategorize some providers, and that's going to have an impact. What impact will the Visa decision have on Sightline, number one? And number two, are there still these sorts of issues to be resolved with that part of the payments world?
No, look, what I will tell you is being intimately involved in this, and I'm well conditioned, as is anyone who's been in the payments industry or gaming industry. We're well conditioned to deal with adversity and or change. And it's really how you navigate that. What I will tell you is being intimately involved in this industry and the convergence of payments and acceptance being introduced back in 2013, when we first rolled out internet gaming in Delaware, Nevada, and New Jersey, tremendous payment issues, right? There was basically zero acceptance because the framework had not been put in place to truly help demonstrate and understand and create consistency and visibility and transparency to the issuing banks on what type of activity this is. Is it legal, lawful, activity? Show me the third-party controls. And there's a lot to unpack within that. But we have come a long way from an acceptance perspective where this industry is, whether it be on the digital side and soon what will be cascaded back in for card acceptance in the brick and mortar side in the integrated casino resort. What Visa came out and did, you really right now, you have 3 issuers that have really been more the laggers in terms of actually approving online gaming or sports betting. Those 3 have been Bank of America, Capital One, and Chase have been the 3 largest that have sat back and watched and wanted the market to mature a little bit more to make sure they understood the legality of the activity, that they understood, did they have the right governance controls and oversight? How would they update their real-time decisioning tool to understand that this is a good, legal, lawful financial transaction? Recently, Chase has come to market in support of Merchant Category Code 7801, which is internet gaming and sports betting, with the acceptance of debit cards. We are told, and obviously we work very closely with the card networks, that Chase, from a credit perspective, looks to be entering the market in sometime in Q1. Bank of America continues to take a look and vet out the program of if they should entertain and engage in the market. And I will tell you, there's been a great industry collaborative effort in terms of working with Bank of America directly to help better educate the compliance, the regulatory teams, government affairs, to help them understand that this is good business. What Visa has wanted to do, they have gone out and looked at all various alternative payment methods, whether it's the digital wallets, whether it's some form of stored value account, prepaid accounts. It doesn't matter. Any form of alternative payment that may be inevitably riding on the rails of Visa, Visa is coming out to say, hey, in order to provide consistency that will help drive and motivate those that are yet in the market to be able to understand that I will have activity running that may be utilized in some way, shape, or form, that may be used to fund wagering activity, whether it be internet gaming or sports betting. I would like to institute a common MCC code of being 7801. There will be some short-term impacts, really more surrounding Bank of America credit, and in the short term, Chase credit, and those that would use a Capital One credit card, because those will be declined, whether they were coming in through Sightline, EML, Skrill. There are many other alternative payment methods or digital instruments being utilized. Now there's a level playing field in regards to how they view that transaction, but it is to help create transparency so these other issuers will enter the market. There will be some short-term adversity the industry deals with, but we are navigating that as an industry. And again, as I mentioned earlier, being well conditioned to operate in this type of environment, knowing that you're always going to have gyrations in the payments industry, the gaming industry, and it's how you react, how you align, and ultimately how we navigate through these complexities. Conversely, I will tell you, MasterCard and Discover have taken stored value offerings, or specifically the model that Sightline has built which is very unique in regards to being bi-directional and leveraging an open loop network. And any form of gaming gambling activity requires movement down, and that happens in a closed loop environment. We have received favorable messaging and MCC code designations from MasterCard and Discover, which will allow that to occur and allow those funding transactions to occur with the Play Plus offering without having a negative patron experience, which means those credit transactions will not come or be treated as a cash advance, right? If those were to fund directly a wagering account, the patron would incur additional banking fees by their issuer on the Discover MasterCard network because it's treated as a cash advance, so on and so forth. So there's somewhat of a mixed message in the market. A lot of that continues to come down to education, awareness, what that looks like, but I remain steadfast and incredibly bullish about our number one goal is opening up acceptance, and then the natural utility, the value proposition of we at Sightline bring in truly providing this seamless ecosystem, providing a seamless way for payouts, things of that nature will truly differentiate in the marketplace. So long story short, well-versed. I've been dealing with the networks for 30 years. There's always going to be short-term gyrations, but I've never been more bullish on how we will navigate this. And when you look at Q1 going into Q2 of next year, acceptance is going to look entirely different. And we want to be, and we will continue to be the ones that lead that effort in the sharing of best practices on behalf of the entire industry. Doesn't matter what role you play in the industry. It doesn't matter if you're a competitor or you're providing an alternative payment method. We're going to collaborate and lead the industry on this.
Okay, great. One final question, I guess, before we wrap this up. One of our buzzwords of the day is cryptocurrency. Where does cryptocurrency fit in?
So look, we will always keep a mindful eye on any alternative payment method or any payment method that gets introduced into the ecosystem. But we're going to look at it from, a regulatory perspective, an AML KYC perspective, what adoption, right? What fraud. We're going to really interrogate what that payment method is going to look like. And if it runs through and it meets all the criteria that we need it to be, then we're going to embrace it and enable it as a funding mechanism within our co-branded Play Plus offering. I will tell you though, we are laser focused on knowing that we finally have movement in the various jurisdictions from a land-based perspective in terms of rolling out cardless, contactless, or cashless initiatives, coupled with the aggressive movement that's happening on the digital rollout of sports betting and/or internet gaming. The payment ecosystem I want to solve first. But before we go running off to another alternative payment method, I want to stick the landing on how we provide a seamless way, regardless of the funding mechanism, regardless of the payment method as it relates to the payment ecosystem. I want to stick the landing for the industry to get open acceptance that seamlessly allows money to move in and out. Only then will we want to really take a look at whether it's cryptocurrencies or the next generation of what adoption may look like in terms of a different form factor or payment method.
Okay, great. Finally, we've covered a lot of territory, Joe. Anything else you would like folks to know about Sightline?
No, look, we have a great passion in the space. We have great clarity in our vision. We know exactly the value we need to bring and continue to bring. We know with our strategic partner, the investments that needed within our various, disciplines that I had outlined about how can we truly lead this industry forward in truly creating a harmonious environment. We will get, right? Years ago, it was conceptual of how can I stitch together all these disparate points of interaction, whether it's on the gaming floor, whether it's digital, whether it's on the non-gaming side of my hospitality. That is a reality, and that is coming to market. And when you take a look at some of the key partners in the space and the collaborative efforts and the innovation that's now happening because of the infiltration of payments within the gaming sector, we feel very good about our positioning. We feel very good about how we are going to truly differentiate, and we understand this industry better than anyone, and we're excited. And I look forward to the opportunity. I've been blessed, to take on this new role. And fortunately, I'm surrounded by a lot of great, smart people who have great depth and expertise. So look forward to it. I appreciate the dialogue and the interaction we've had. And you know what? 21 is going to be much better than 20. That I can promise.
Joe, that is a great note on which to end. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.